Hi guys, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to present you the soil condition in my area. This video is my individual assignment for subject Geotechnic 2 and the subject code is BFC 34402. Before we starting the video, let me introduce myself. My name is Shinn and my number metric is DF190142 and I am a second year degree student for Civil Engineering program in University Tun Hussein Wong, Malaysia, which is located at Pariraja, Johor. For the location, my area is located at Taman Pelangi, Tangka, Johor. Tangka is located in the northwestern corner of the state of Johor, bordering Malacca by the Kesan River and Johor River. This town is nicknamed as Fabric Town in honor of its many textile shops. It is also well known as being a major main entry point to Mount Ofik or Gunung Ledang in Malay, the highest mountain in Johor. First of all, what is soil? According to civil engineer, soil included all naturally occurring loose to soft deposit overlaying the solid bedrock. On the basis of geological, soil can be formed by decomposition of organic material, and it also may be formed due to disintegration and decomposition of rock by the process known as weathering. Organic soil are formed by the decomposition of plant and animal residue over time. While soil by physical weathering form when large rocks fall from the highland under the action of gravity, impact, air and water, break down it into smaller pieces. Some of these pieces are large and some are very fine. These pieces are called soil. These pieces fall under the category of gravel and soil, respectively. On the other hand, in chemical weathering, rock decompose by oxidation, hydration, carbonation, and leaching by organic acids and form finer soil such as shale and clay. Shale are defined as coarser than clay. On the basis of grain size, we can arrange these soils by gravel having the largest grain size. After that, salt has relatively smaller grain, and then comes shale, and lastly, the clay has smaller grain size. If wetter material of formed soil remain at the place where they are produced, they are called residue soil. And if this wetter material is transported and deposited elsewhere by the action of wind, water, ice, or any other agency, then this is called transported soil. For the property of soil, first we will talk about the soil structure. Salt, shale, clay, and organic matter particles in a soil combine with one another to form largest particles of various shape and size and are often referred to as aggregate. Soil structure is the arrangement and organization of soil particles in the soil and the tendency of individual soil particles to bind together in aggregate. So, the soil structure is important as it affects water and air movement in a soil. So, a good slump of soil is gonna be about 50% of soil and 50% of air and water spaces. To maintain plenty of pure flow of air and water in the soil, we had to form a good clump structure. Geotechnic engineers call this as clump aggregate. The small aggregates are bound together by chemical bonds from organic matter and clay, while bacteria and root hair produce sticky substances that glue soil particles together. Second property of soil is soil texture. Soil texture is referred to the proportion of salt, shale, and clay-sized particles that make up the mineral fraction of the soil. Soil texture is influenced by the size, shape, and gradation of soil particles in a soil. For example, light soil refers to a soil high in salt relative to clay, while heavy soil are made up largely of clay. Soil texture is important as it has a large influence on water holding capacity and water conducting ability. In a laboratory, soil texture is measured by passing a sample of soil through a series of sieves with different size mesh then calculating what proportion of the soil sample comprise the 3 different particle size. In field, it can be determined with a simple hand texturing technique by referring the flowchart to determine the soil texture. Third is aggregate stability. Aggregate stability is the water holding capacity in the soil as the number of water-stable aggregate in the soil show its capacity to sustain its structure under the most extreme condition, like a heavy rainstorm. Here we can see that very stable aggregate maintain their structure even after soaking, other melt away. Lastly, permeability. Permeability of a soil is the rate at which water flows through it under action of hydraulic gradient. For example, gravel particles are large. Larger the soil grain, larger will be the volume of void, and better will be the conductivity of those pores. Consequently, large amount of water may flow through them easily, and higher will be the flow of water. And that we can say higher is the permeability of the soil. Permeability is important in geotechnical design as it influences the rate of settlement of a saturated soil under a soil. For example, the stability of slope and retaining structure can be greatly affected by the permeability of a soil involved. In order to know the soil condition in my area, I had conducted some soil physical testing in the field. Firstly, I dig a hole from the soil surface by a drawer and take a sample. Next, I take the soil sample and spill it on a flat surface, and through visual inspection, I can get the idea of the soil sample that it contains less than 50% of possible particle, then this soil is considered as fine-grained soil. After identifying the soil as fine-grained, I can conduct plasticity tests to distinguish clay and silt. I give it a nice push together with my finger just to break out the smaller pieces and remove anything that is more than about 2 mm in size, like stone, gravel, and large organic matter like leaf before starting texturing the soil. Next, I will add some water to help the soil all come together until the soil begins to stick together without sticking to my hand and form a nice moist ball. Then, I take the moist ball and roll it into a cylinder. If the soil manages to form a 10 cm long cylinder of diameter as small as 3 mm without cracking, the soil contains high clay content. Here we can see that the soil can be formed into a 10 cm long cylinder, but there are several cracking in the surface. So this soil is considered as silty soil. For dry strength property, I take some lump formed in the soil that are completely dry in sun or air and press between my thumb and forefinger to observe the resistance of this lump to breaking. I can feel that the lump requires finger pressure to break, so I can describe the strength of this soil as medium, and this soil contains silt with few amount of clay. Now I pour some water over them and see how well they drain. Since silt had a slightly larger particle size when compared with clay, which gives it a greater ability to drain, but it's still a poorly permeable soil type, which results in medium infiltration rate and slightly poor drainage. As more water fills the pore space, the air is pushed out. When all pore space in the soil are filled with water, the soil becomes saturated. Saturated soil on level ground results in standing water, which can cause floating. Saturated soil on sloping ground results in runoff and may lead to an increased volume of water entering a body of water. This condition can result in erosion and flooding, as well as an increased level of pollutant entering the body of water. In conclusion, the soil condition in my area is fine-grained soil. The soil type is silty soil with a few amount of clay. The soil has medium dry strength property, and it is medium permeable soil with medium infiltration rate. It can be also concluded that Property of a soil is important as geotechnical property of soil had different behavior on the structure, and the property of a soil determine its potential use and limitation. For example, permeability gives the idea about the stability of foundation and seepage through embankment. So this interaction between geotechnical property of soil can help the engineer while designing the foundation for different type of civil engineering structure. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.